Good morning, folks. You're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's strong enough to resurrect a dead fuel pump. The stories are real, the wrenches never stop turning. I'm your host, Nile Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you from the Car Connection Workshop, where the smell of fresh oil and a little elbow grease is all part of a balanced breakfast. And around here, we don't just talk cars, we live them. Whether it's a 25-year-old Jeep Wrangler getting a second chance at life, or a Nissan Rogue getting its brakes back in order, or even a mystery leak that's got everyone scratching their heads. This is where we roll up our sleeves and we get it done with a little wit, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of fun. The Car Connection isn't just about nuts, bolts, and diagnostics. It's about connection to our vehicles, to the people that drive them, to the community that keeps Niagara rolling. Because when you fix a car, you're not just turning a wrench. You're restoring someone's confidence, freedom, and maybe even their sanity. We're here every week, Monday through Saturday, helping you keep your ride safe, reliable, and ready for whatever road lies ahead. So whether you're a weekend wrencher, a daily commuter, or someone who just wants to understand what that strange rattle really means, welcome aboard. Stick around for shop talk, expert advice, a few good laughs, and even maybe, just maybe, a service flashback, a service bay flashback. No, I don't got one right now, but there could be one coming. Well, let's jump into all the details. Great to be with you here on a Saturday morning in the Car Connection Workshop for Motormouth's Morning Drive, 8 a.m., 6 days a week. And today is the 1-hour Q&A program. So if you're joining us for the very first time, you send questions in on a Friday by noon, and that gives me time to select 3 what I feel are phenomenal questions to unpack on Saturday morning, because it takes me a little while to get through 3 questions. I don't just give you a fluffy answer and fluff it off and go to the next one. I unpack it so you can really understand what's behind the question that's being asked, and you can learn a lot of basic automotive ownership fundamentals to keep that baby running as long as you want, because mileage doesn't matter, friends. It's maintenance that matters. So if you suck at maintenance, it doesn't matter, and this program probably can't help you unless you're ready to learn. So doesn't matter what age, what size, what width, what height, what language, what color, anything. As long as you're a car enthusiast, single mom, widowed, divorced 100 times, it doesn't matter. If you're the one that's having to look after the car and you want to learn more about it to prevent yourself from being ripped off out there in the automotive service departments, then you know what? You are in the right parking space this morning. So welcome aboard. A little bit of housekeeping to help you if you're just joining us for the very first time. Share us with your family and friends. We're on all the podcast platforms with our podcast. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Podbean. We are there. And all the others as well. So wherever your friends grab their podcasts from, just tell them to type in the search box, Car Connection Workshop. They'll find us. Also, all our podcasts, this one included, once it goes live at 8 a.m. this morning, it will also be on our YouTube channel. So the homepage of our website is the biggest tool box drawer that we have. Everything you need to connect with our program partners, and thank you to all you out there who are supporting them by giving them your business, because we need them and we need you too. So thank you for doing that so very much, because without our program partners, we're not monetized yet. They're helping us to pay the bills to be able to do it, because doing YouTube and podcasting and Instagram, Facebook, and Stevensville on the web takes time, effort, energy, and money to put all those pieces together for you so that you have more ways to watch, listen, and engage with us Monday through Saturday. So all our podcasts are load up instantly to our YouTube channel. There's over, 200 and 32 podcasts up there for you to review, and there's all kinds of nuggets in each and every one of those podcasts. And I would highly recommend, don't skim the description boxes. Don't skim the description boxes. I purposely put more automotive tech tips in the descriptions for YouTube videos and the podcasts. And that's where you'll find all our contacting information as well, and how you can connect with us. We have a merch store, so all our links are top right-hand corner of our homepage at ccbusnet.com. That's the short version, Car Connection Business Network. It's where we connect quality businesses to you folks out there that are in the Niagara region. And our hope is we can build the Car Connection Business Network to go all the way around the world with businesses in different countries, because our podcasts right now are being listened to in 10 countries. And I am absolutely blown away by that, because 31 years in radio, we'd be lucky if we could get out of our backyard into the next circle of possible population that's tuning in. And here we are, not even a year into our podcast, we're being listened to in 10 countries. That's freaking amazing. So it would be really cool to have automotive repair shops and other small to medium family owned and operated businesses online with us on our website as part of our Car Connection Business Network. That would be flat out amazing, wouldn't it? So top right-hand corner gives you all the links. You don't need to go looking anywhere else to find us. You don't need to go in search boxes. Go to our homepage. All our projects are there, and episodes. Everything that we have available to you is there. So top right-hand corner, I'll try and do it by memory. First one is our YouTube channel. So click, boom, takes you right there. And take a moment, if you haven't subscribed, or you think you're subscribed, or you're not sure, would you do us, Skippy and I, a favor? Just check and make sure that you are subscribed, and help us get to our very first 1,000 subscribers. We are over halfway, and we need the push. There's many of you, 63% of you are enjoying the videos and the podcast, but you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you would take care of that business, we would be over the moon, because that would mean we can then qualify for YouTube monies. Yes, which would really help us to stay ahead of our bills and to move forward and offer and do other things for you folks. So thank you for doing that in advance and taking a moment to do that. We have Instagram, Facebook, Stevensville on the web. That's a website that our Skippy, our videographer, created about 7 years ago. It gets about 20,000 people visiting it every month. We both have family, peeps, and friends that live in Stevensville. It's a quaint little town, and there's all kinds of things going on. Great activities, and also eateries. Some of the that's where I hide out, just to let you know. The eateries in Stevensville are amazing. Never had a bad meal. And that's where you'll find the zoo. Safari Niagara is there. So if you haven't taken your kids there, your grandkids or your older kids, make a day of it. And just go out there and enjoy the whole day. Splash pad, they got it all there. Get on the tram and see the whole zoo. All the animals. Make sure you got cameras and whatnot and food, and they have food there as well. Everything is there for you, so check them out. We are in the business section on Stevensville on the web, so click on that tab, and on all three of those social media platforms, that's where you'll find reels, bloopers, and outtakes that you will not see anywhere else. So Skippy does that. She's very sneaky with the camera, and she takes little bloopers and creates little ditties on there, so you have a good laugh on me, and I'm okay with that. We have a merch store, so a lot of people are emailing, do you have merch? Yes, we have a merch store online that you can safely order, safely pay, and everything is made fresh and sent directly to you from Freedom Expressions, which is a part of the Total Freedom Addiction campuses. So here's how that works. We don't ask for a dime from all the purchases that are made on our Freedom Expressions store, where all our Car Connection and Motormouth merch is located. Anything you purchase, 100% of it goes right back to Total Freedom Addiction campuses, Canada and USA. So join our crew, grab some gear, take a selfie, shoot that over to us, and maybe be the first one on our Motormouth wall of fame that we will build on our website. So you're showing off your gear, and send us a selfie, allowing us to post you up there and make a real big deal about it, because when you buy the merch, you're standing with the crew and saying, together we can make a difference in addictions, all ages. It doesn't matter. Addictions affect kids as young as, here's what I found, 7 years old. It's unbelievable, folks. So let's stand together and join our crew, grab some gear, and let's make a difference in the life of someone else. Because at Total Freedom Addiction campuses, a new life happens every single day. What else we got on our homepage? Have I forgotten anything? Yep, that's it. If I missed something, let me know, would you? Okay, we're going to have a swiggy in just a moment, so get your morning coffee ready, whatever that beverage is. That's your morning coffee. And don't forget to get yourself your very own Car Connection coffee mug. All right, they're available while supplies last. We may do a mug style change or something in the fall. We're thinking about that. So get your Car Connection coffee mug going right away. And hey, maybe take a selfie in the morning with your favorite beverage. Give us a thumbs up or something, a big bodacious smile, and let's get you on the Motormouth Wall of Fame, huh? Yes. All right, we'll have weekend weather coming up in just a moment. I have 3 questions. Thank you to Julie, Wendy, and Allison for sending in some great questions. We're going to unpack all 3 of those. I think they kind of tie in a little bit with each other because it's all about maintenance. They're asking me about maintenance and asking questions, which is fantastic. I don't have a Motormouth summer tech tip for you today. We only do that Monday through Friday. Weekends, it's Q&A, and I'm out of here until bright and early Monday morning. So I'm up at 4 a.m. recording the program for you, the podcast, and then getting that all edited and put together so that you get it at 8 a.m. sharp, Monday through Saturday. So thank you for supporting us. Come along, be part of our Car Connection community on the platforms, subscribe, and let's get into it. So on 3, 2, 1, we have our morning beverage. That's for all of you just joining us for the first time. Then we'll do our weekend weather today, and then we're going to leap right into the 3 questions that I've selected from the ladies. I'm telling you guys, I don't know where you are, but man, the ladies, they throw the questions in the bucket. So that has to be done by high noonday on Fridays. So guys, ask questions, because here's the thing. When I'm out and about, not out in a boot, somebody said, you have an accent. And I go, what? Get over yourself. You always say oot in a boot. I do not. I say out and about. Hello. Yeah, send me a comment. Does it sound like I'm saying oot in a boot? I don't think so. I don't think so, Tim. So anyways, let's dive into it. You ready? On 3, 2, 1. So fellas, the ladies you are breathing and eating their dust from their rear tires, because they send me questions every week by noon on Friday, and that's what makes Saturday's Q&A fly. In September, all those who send a question on Friday will go into the monthly draw, and I'll give away some Car Connection gear. We'll send that right out to you with a goodie pack. We'll load it with all kinds of stuff, but there won't be, something you don't like in there. And if there is, just give it to somebody else. Yeah, we always have stuff around here. We'll make sure we send something nice out. So again, starting September, once the kids have gone back to school and everybody's gotten back into the groovy of the scheduling and routine, I will then, at that point, everyone who sends me a question on Saturday, whether I use it or not, you get a ticket in the hat for our monthly draw for some free car connection swag. How cool is that? Right on? You like that? So fellas, at this point, it looks like the ladies are going to clean up on the swag unless you figure out how you can ask a question. Because when I'm out in public, it's always, hey, can I ask you a question? Can I get another question? These are the guys. Yeah, can I ask another question? And the ladies are like, can I get a selfie with you? Of course. Or can I sit in the car connection Orange Crush and get a picture? Absolutely. And I even give them the keys and say, hold up the keys and let your friends think that you won this thing. Oh, I can do that? And I go, absolutely. And then put the kids in there, take a picture, and it's just a great time. But guys, it's like, can I ask you a question? Well, why don't you email one in? Do you think you could? Because you can do, voice to email. You don't have to type it out. You can just, let the computer take care of it for you. And then send. It's motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com or Nile@ccbusnet.com. Okay, let's do this thing. And if you're taking notes, you're going to need some writing sticks. We favor a 16-pack of Crayola crayons. They smell better, and apparently taste is not bad, but I don't recommend it at all. And get a leaf bag so you got lots of geography to take notes. And if not, just join our YouTube channel so you can catch all the podcasts there, as well as 3 new videos every single week that cover the 5 things: what it is, where it is, how it works, and how you broke it. And then we're going to work on teaching you how not to break it a second and maybe third time and save yourself a whole whack of money. Because driving an older automobile and maintaining it and keeping it reliable is money in the bank, because mileage does not matter. Maintenance does. If you haven't listened to the podcast from this past week where I was talking about my friend Steve's 2010 4Runner, 644,000 kilometers. 1 wheel bearing, and I can't remember what the other thing was. Oh, he replaced the tailgate because the bottom of it was rotting out, and he found a rust-free one, so he changed it. And I said, are you going to get rid of it anytime soon? He goes, no, I love that thing. He goes, you know what? It's basic maintenance. Change all the fluids, do the filters. We talked about that earlier this week. I have 400,000 on my 07 FJ Cruiser. Same method. Fluids, filters, maintenance. On time, every time. And guess what? It's reliable. Yesterday, I grabbed a car trailer, the hauler. I rented it. I used to have one, and then I'm like, I don't use it. It sits around a lot. And it's probably better that way because their maintenance times maintenance all the time. Trailers. If you're not using it, you're better off just rent one when you need it. Do the deed. Take it back. Be done with it. Same with if it's a camper or an RV. Just go RVing and then take it back. Because I had one and I thought it would be great to have one. I had a Georgia Boy RV given to us through our radio program many years ago. And I'll tell you, it was maintenance galore because it sat around, and I was thinking about renting it out, and I'm thinking, you know what? If it goes out in good shape and comes back and stuff is broken, I'm not going to be a pleased camper at that point. So I listed it. It sold in 1 hour. Kid you not. All fiberglass. So no roof leaks, nothing like that. It looked like Elvis Presley owned it inside. It was, what year was that thing? It was 1988 Georgia Boy. You can look that up. It was a Ford power plant, Ford looking front end, but it was all fiberglass. Yeah. And it was a lot of work. And that's when I just go, you know what? No. Like it sits and sits and sits and sits for you to use it for a couple of weeks a year. I think we'll talk about that in another podcast. Is that stuff just eats your time, and the maintenance to keep it going is it's over the top. So anyways, I rented a car hauler. We grabbed it was time for the 1997 Jeep TJ Wrangler to head over to my friend Jesse's Fab Shop in Waynfleet, Ontario, Canada. And that's where it is as of yesterday. They're working on it today. And we're doing the wrap up on this TJ. It's just about that was a rescue. You got to watch all the videos on that. It's a crusher. That vehicle was in a wrecking yard, and I found it by accident, and the gentleman let me have it for a song. I can't remember what I did sing for him, but he said, please don't do that again. I'll pay you not to. I'm like, okay, I'm going to sing you Bohemian Rhapsody in the key of B minor. Really? I go, no, not really. Here's $10. So anyways, it's out there. It's getting custom exhaust on it because the engine I put in a deeper oil pan. So the front crossover pipe is like right under the oil pan, which is no good. Can't do that. We got to get heat away from the main bearings and the connecting rod bearings. You don't want exhaust crossing under the oil pan. So they're doing that for us. That's amazing. And what else are we getting? Oh, they're going to replace the discombobulated lower control arm front axle bracket that's bent and looks like some kind of piece of artwork. So I found new ones online, and I spent hours trying to straighten this thing. And then when I found them on Amazon, I'm like going, you got to be kidding me. You can get these brand new? Yeah, it was like $62 for a kit. Gave you two brackets, the left lower front and right lower front for $62. And I'm like, I'm in. So Jesse's looking after that as well. They do amazing custom welding jobs, exhaust systems and turbos and all that stuff. We'll shoot a little video when we go to pick it up from the shop in Waynfleet, and thank the guys for jumping in and helping us out with that when it comes back. I'll be doing up the floor on the driver's side and changing out. When I'm done with that, I'm going to coat the floor and put in all the interior from a 2006 Jeep TJ Wrangler from Houston, Texas. So I'm going to send a short out on that, so keep an eye on your phones. I'll send a short. I did that yesterday once I got it loaded on the trailer and latched down. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's Saturday. I'm having a cup of coffee, okay? Anybody's been listening for a while knows I have my herbals first thing. An hour after I wake up, then I can have coffee. Yeah, because those dang cortisol things make you fatter than a pack of donuts. That's not a bad thing. Everything in moderation. And remember, here in the Car Connection Workshop, donuts are the other white meat, just so you know. All right, let's get into the questions. Give thanks to our program partners that make our podcasts and our YouTube channel. We couldn't have made the switch after 31 years from radio to full digital. There's no way we could have done it without being monetized. And we're not monetized on our YouTube channel, but you guys and gals are going to help us get there. We thank you for that. We really, really do, Skippy and I. We thank you so much. Give us a push. Get the can of fuel. Get the booster cables, and let's get our big block 427 out of the gate. Okay? Let's get that engine started and keep it running and just wide open throttle. Thank you to Earl and Louise Grant. Mama Louise and her husband Earl, he is what we call a car enthusiast extreme. They offer you low mileage quality vehicles at fair prices. Greater Toronto area's premier pre-owned auto store. And, it's fantastic to have them because you know why? You'll have an amazing vehicle purchasing experience there you will not get anywhere else. This couple is outstanding. 25 years. They've been with us almost 10. And I'll tell you what, I've heard stories of our listeners going there, making a purchase. And one time Earl said, hang on, there's nothing what you're looking for. There's nothing good right now. Let's just wait a little bit and something will come up. And she got just the car she wanted. And she didn't even know that the vehicle was the color she always wanted. How awesome is that? And that was a great testimonial on that. So thank you, Earl and Louise. You're an amazing couple, and we appreciate you very much for making the Car Connection Motormouth Morning Drive available to our listeners. Well, we better get our weekend weather happening. Here we go. For Saturday, here's what we got. On the rainometer in the Niagara region, South Shores of Lake Erie, 0.1 of an inch of RAIN, rain. And Saturday's low will be 68 between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. Sometimes I stand outside for about 15 minutes after I get up and tootle around and get the house lit up and whatnot in the studio. And the breeze off the lake and the cooler temperatures just like a breath of fresh air. So the high for today is going to be 85 degrees, so make sure you're watered up all the time. No pets in cars, no children left in cars. Put your windows down about a thumb thickness or 2 fingers and let that heat out of there. Get yourself a front windshield sunshade. Trust me, it reduces the heat and the temperature inside the vehicle by 15 to 20%. If you strolled by the studio here, you would see the vehicles outside, they all have sunshades. Prevents the dash from cracking and drying out, but most of all, it lowers the inside car temperature so you don't end up punching out a windshield, because I had that happen, and it's loud. I thought a shotgun went off, and it was the windshield, the pressure from the heat. It just went boom, popped the windshield right out. Yeah, cha-ching. The temperature range today is going to be 69 to 85. It's going to feel similar to its actual temperature, so 69 to 85. So keep yourself watered. Put your sunscreen on before you turn into human bacon, all right? Or human jerky, if that's possible. That sounds kind of gross. Yeah, I think beef jerky is there. Turkey jerky's good, very good. And I don't know whether I've tried chicken jerky or not. I haven't made any of that or had any. Oh, I have had deer jerky, and it is really good. I mean, it is really, really good. All right, let's take a look at, it wouldn't be the weekend without Sunday, right? Absolutely. So here's what we got coming up for Sunday in the Niagara region. South Shores of Lake Erie, we got a little more on the rainometer, 1.4 inches. So it may rain on Sunday. We don't know. We'll be able to write about it afterwards. Sunday's low will be 68 between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. The high will be 77 between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Temperature range will feel like 67 to 76 degrees. The wind will make it feel cooler than the actual temperature. That's for Sunday. So enjoy your Sunday fun day with family, friends, neighbors, sojourners, whatever your deal is on Sunday. Have a good time and get some West and some West and waxation is always good. Some white space, and I'm one for that too. I'm bad for that. Downtime, I'm working 82 hours a week. Keep all these things in order. And scheduling and editing, yeah, it's a bit crazy, but it will tame down once we're able to. Once the monetization kicks in, it will relieve a ton of pressure. So thank you again. Thank you to all of you that are taking a moment to make sure you are subscribed and signed up to be part of our social online community, the Motormouth online community. Instagram, Facebook, Stevensville on the web. And Also sign in to be part of our podcast too. That's a separate deal. So if you sign in for that, that helps us with our analytics there, and I'm working towards monetization there as well. So all these things, bits and pieces, will help us to be able to hit a goal of being able to raffle off a muscle car once a year. That's our ultimate goal, and I have 2 vehicles in the holding right now, in the holding pattern. So how cool is that? That would be really cool with the net proceeds going to 3 local charitable organizations, faith-based nonprofit in our own backyard. So I want to split it 3 ways because I have 3 organizations that are very near and dear to my heart, and I want to make sure that we can do our part and send funds to them as many times as we possibly can, because they're doing things that many of us just don't have the time or the talent to do, and that is to reach out to families and people of all ages, feed them a couple times a week, and make sure that they're taken care of and loved on, and programs for the kids. So check them out. They are on our website, Crystal Ridge Dream Center. So have a look. That's just one of the organizations. There's 2 more that I've worked with in the past. And since, the COVID carnival took half of our company away after 26 years, it's been a long road, friends, a long road. And some of my friends that were in business, they didn't make it through the lockdowns and stuff. The 3rd lockdown, second lockdown for some after 30 plus years in business. It's sad. It really is sad. So anyways, thank you to Kathy, Dave, and Dan Grimo for what they do at Niagara Block, building Canada since 1931. They are the next generation taking over, and they're doing a fantastic job. So if you're looking to put an addition on your home, you're going to need blocks, you're going to need stone, you're going to need angle iron and rebar and all that kind of stuff to get the foundational portion done. They have all that. And they make all the blocks. They have interlocking brick. They have pavers. I think that's the American part of me for working over there for like 26 years. You used to have to go to the studio. And today I look back and I go, we went to the studio like 3 o'clock in the morning, left to get to the studio in Buffalo. I was way up in Kitchener, Cambridge, actually. Oxford, Waterloo County. You can Google that. That's where I was, right behind a little town called New Dundee. And I would leave the farm at 3 in the morning on Saturday to get to the border here in Fort Erie by 6 a.m. on the air at 6:59 and 30 seconds. Yeah. So, and pavers, getting back to it, pavers, I think Canadians know them as patio stones. I'm pretty sure. So they have patio stones there, all different types, shapes, and designs. But if you're looking to create any kind of hardscape landscaping, walkways, English walkways, designer stones, they have all that stuff. River rock, angel stone. They have all that and all the products you would need to muster up and make that beautiful outdoor living space. Kathy Grimo has a list of contractors you can trust that she can refer you to create a design, put together a plan and an estimate for you so you know what it's going to cost. Start the project, finish the project, and sit back and enjoy the beauty. Let's say thank you to our certified planning professionals, Tony Melly and Larry Tetro. 50 years experience. These guys are winding down. Their team is winding up. So here's what you need. You need an hour and a coffee. If you're dragging the debt dragon or he's dragging you, it's time to deal with that. If you've got GICs with the bank making pocket change, you need to let them look at what you've got going in your investment portfolio to make sure that baby is performing like a 15,000 horsepower dragster, not chained to an oak tree. We want it to run. You go to bed, you wake up in the morning, and your portfolio made money. That's what you need. And that's the purpose of certified financial planners, They understand the tax laws. They understand low risk, medium risk, high risk investments where you can get dividends and returns, TFSAs, and they invest that money so you get dividends, so your TFSA, tax-free savings account, isn't sitting there with the handbrake on. They take that money and they invest it so it grows, and the dividends are tax-free. Getting it? That's a great idea, isn't it? The banks don't do that for you. They do. The guys do that. And estate planning. Are you the health proxy for your 18-year-old children living at home? That means you are their health power of attorney. That's what you need to be, moms and dads. So that's not something you can play with. Life insurance, critical illness insurance, they've got the whole package to make sure you're covered. So get that hour and a coffee and get that discovery meeting. Leave your wallets at home and your purses. They're not going to be asking you for any money, but you should definitely, I can tell you from experience, I've known these guys 20 years, and I'll tell you, I couldn't have made it through what I had to go through twice without them. And a bank would not be there to help you. Trust me. They don't do that stuff. Everything's cookie cutter. All right, let's get into question number 1 this morning for Saturday's Q&A. Thank you for joining us today. We're glad to have you with us. It's great to be a part of your world, and I welcome you into my world as well. Julia, question number 1, backing out of a parking space and something got hung up underneath the car. I read this as I receive it, so it's the real world. So she's backing out, got hung up underneath, something got hung up underneath the car, and it has been removed. I was told the big, quote, black thing is not needed. Is that correct? That's a great question, because you know what's weird about finding that question in the email box was I saw at least a minimum 3 vehicles this past week with the big black things hanging down under their vehicle. And one went past me, and I thought it was brakes that I could hear scraping, but it actually wasn't. And I was outside. We're on a corner lot. I was outside doing some yard work, and I heard this scraping noise coming, and then a vehicle pulled right up to the stop, and then the noise was gone. I go, oh, that would be the culprit. The causal component was identified as he went through the intersection, and I had a look underneath, and yes, there is this big thing hanging down, scraping the road surface. That would be what we call the belly pan. And I have to put the belly pan back on the 2007 FJ Cruiser. I power washed it, and I painted it up with some epoxy paint because I don't want it to rot out, because it's like $500 to $600 for it. It's metal. It's not plastic. It's metal. It protects the front lower portion of the engine, transmission lines, lower radiator hose. All that stuff is wide open. Power steering lines without that lower belly pan on. So that'll be something I get done sometime this weekend. It's ready to go back on, and it's got to go back on. So if that's you that I saw going down the road with the big black thing scraping the road, no, you can't leave that off. That needs to go back on. And I'm going to give you the reason for it. Because we have engine bays, the power barn underneath the hood, so tight, there's a lot of heat generated and not a whole lot of space. Like on Mr. Green Jeans, our 67 Chevy pickup from Georgia. It was a farm truck. He's green and white, was born green and white. He has a white top, white bumpers, white headlight bezels, and the rest of the truck is green. And on the inside, he's like a goldy kind of beige inside. So I thought I'd just kind of describe to you who Mr. Green Jeans is. So under his hood, I can actually sit inside the engine bay. But on today's cars, I have small hands. I'm a musician as well, and my hands are small. And I can hardly get my hands into some of these engines. I don't know how the big guys do it. The behemoths, I have no idea. Same with under the dash work. I don't know how these big fellas do it. You know, I'm not teeny weeny, but, you know, I'm not a large. Yeah, I'm not a small. I was a small in high school. That got me in a ton of trouble. How many of you spent 20 minutes in a commercial dryer? Hello. That would be me. Thank you to the lady. I never knew what her name was. The guys put me in there. I don't know how much money they put in the dryer, and then they left. Now, how do you open the door when you need both hands and your feet to stop yourself from tumble drying in a great big commercial dryer? This lady opened the door and got me out. Yeah. So anyways, that was when I was small. And then I got my glasses smashed. They were only a day old, shoved into a locker, and that's back when they made the lenses out of glass, and boy, was my pops not happy. I got blamed for these guys. Why'd you let them do it? Well, they're like 3 times bigger than me, and they grabbed me and threw me into a locker and put the lock on. And thank you to Miss Drombolis, who heard me banging and clamoring on the locker, went and got the janitor to cut the lock off and let me out. Yeah. And then I squealed on them, and they got, like, serious punishment. I think they're still in lockers somewhere. Yeah, that would be good. So back to the lower shield in the heat. What we've got going on in under the hood in cars today is a lack of space, a lack of airflow, and everything is just jam-packed in there, and lots of plastic. Here's the thing. In order for the vehicle manufacturers to get the heat away from both sides of the engine and get it out and underneath the vehicle and away from the car quickly, that's why we have these unique grill packages that sometimes... I saw a car yesterday and I said to myself, I saw it coming in my side mirror on the FJ, and I go, what the heck is that? It looked like a toaster or a waffle iron coming towards me. I'm going, wow, now they're making cars that have waffle irons in the front. Well, that's amazing. It was the most hideous grill on a car I've ever seen in my life. I thought, that thing is a sight for poor eyes, man. That is homely. Would I want to drive that? No. Absolutely not. But that they've had to do that to get the airflow. So with the belly pan underneath there, and you'll see there's ductwork and vents in the front bumpers, scoops I call them, because the air, you see how they're carved out, is to draw the air in and create turbulence. As the air comes in, it's swirling. It's swirling. I just had a flashback. I did get a swirly when I was little in high school. That wasn't funny. Yeah. Look that up, what a swirly is. It's pathetic. But I had one. So I witnessed that. And my life flashed before me. Because I was small enough, I could have gone down there, you know. Anyways, we can't leave any of that stuff off. If there's an air dam at the front, it looks like a scoop sticking down. That has nothing to do with aesthetics. It has everything to do with scooping up air, and it shoots straight up in front of the radiator and the AC condenser to get airflow up in behind the grill, swirling in around the engine. So all those pieces together create airflow to drive it into the engine bay and push the heat down behind the motor, out underneath the floor of the vehicle, and exit. So the manufacturers have had to manufacture, just like anything else that needs airflow. You know, race cars need lots of airflow. A little piece of plastic on the grill shoots the engine temperature way up. Just a little piece of plastic, because they need lots of airflow to get the heat out and from around the engine. So You break something off at the front, the air dam or the lower engine bay cover, it's all got to go back on, folks. You cannot leave it off. And again, those components aren't there just for giggles. They're there to create the necessary turbulence of airflow in the engine bay with the hood down, creates a giant airflow tunnel. And when you interrupt the flow of the airflow, that means heat is staying around the engine way too long. And that's not good. That is not good. Heat is the enemy. So Julia, whoever, if anybody, I don't know why they may tell you that. You don't need to have that back on there. I'll tell you why most technicians don't like them, because they, in a lot of cases, they got to take that stupid thing down to do an oil change. Too bad. It's just the way of the world right now. It's the way vehicles are designed. That's the way it is. So if your tech's telling you that doesn't need to go back on there, he's not telling you the truth. He's not being honest. It does have to go back on no matter what. No matter what. Okay, question number 2 comes from Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. And thank you, Julie, very much. Wendy says, should we be tuning up our vehicles? I'm being told no, but would like to hear your take on this. Thank you. Well, Wendy, another great question. And yes, we do need to be tuning them up. You don't mind if I have a little swiggy there, do you? Good. It's cold already. Can you believe that? Just reminds me of the service bays. Customers bring us coffee. Some days we'd have the coffee nationals. So we'd stack them up, and then we bought ourselves a microwave. Yeah, it was a good investment. All us, we all chipped in a few bucks, and we got a brand new 0.7 cubic inch microwave. And yeah, we could re-energize our coffee. That was a thrill for us, because people would sometimes by 10 o'clock in the morning, we might have 3 or 4 cups of coffee sitting around, and you know, we'd nuke it around 3 o'clock for the 3 o'clock coffee break. And it was good. It was a good thing. It was a very good thing. Well, when it comes to tune-ups, it's not that we don't do them, but here's what the problem is the talking heads have told us that, oh, no, you don't need to change those spark plugs for 225,000 kilometers. I want that guy or that gal to come to my shop like I did last year on a vehicle, and you can watch the videos, how I struggled to get spark plugs out of an engine that only had 160,000 K on it. It was time consuming, and it took about a week or so to get them all free. So a couple of them I managed to get out almost immediately with a little bit of effort, but the other 4 on the V6, no. They were not coming out. They were not giving up. So I'd like that person that says they can stay in there for, 225,000 kilometers. You come and take them out, pal. Yeah, and especially I would hope that it's an engine where, you can't even get your hands in. And you got to try and get those stuck plugs out of there. Are you kidding me? Because if we can't get them out, then the engine has to come apart. And there's no money savings there, friends. So all those kilometers that the sales guy said you could leave them in there, yeah, now we're pulling the engine apart. So you can send them a nice love letter and say, that was really great recommendation from you. A really great recommendation. It's just costing me about $1,600 in labor. Yeah, to get them out. So here's my point. Even though when it comes to all this maintenance, and they're telling us we can extend our maintenances, don't do it. What they're trying to do is they're setting you up that the vehicle gives you lots of problems, and it's going to cost you money to get all this maintenance caught up, and that you just go nuts. I'm not spending money on an old car, and you get back into the car game by paying interest and principal. You don't want to go there. It's not necessary. So changing the oil on time, changing the spark plugs before you can't get them out is a very good maintenance strategy. Not the salesman strategy looking to get you into another ride so that they can, put socks and shoes on their kids. I get it. Everybody's got to make a buck. But you know what? Is my good friend who passed away many years ago would say, profitability is not a dirty word when it's come by honesty. There you go. Profitability is not a dirty word when it's come by through honesty and integrity, period. So you need to listen to fellows like me that can teach you what you can do to keep your vehicle long term, and the best way is to stay on top of the maintenance and don't listen to these maintenance-free guys, these clowns out there that are selling it. Tune-ups still need to be done. Spark plugs still need to be replaced. But the tune-ups have changed. They've changed. The things that we need to check and service, that part has changed. So before, years ago, it would be cap, rotor, wires, PCV valve, cabin. We didn't have cabin filters, engineered filter. We might have a vent filter on the air breather, and that's what we did. And spark plugs, and engine oil change. Well, now things have changed. We're going to do filters, of course, cabin filter, engineer filter. Make sure that they're top drawer condition. If it's got a decent amount of mileage on it, we're pulling the plugs. Because here's the thing. The problem with today's vehicles is this. As you pack the mileage on, the computers adjust air-fuel mixture to manage the air-fuel mixture to keep the engine running well until it can't. Till things in the system, like spark plugs, the gaps are big enough to put your tennis shoes in there, and they're not supposed to be. That makes the ignition system work harder, and that's when it ends up costing you ignition modules, coilover plug, things that you will learn through our YouTube channel. You get to see all that stuff. What is a coilover plug? What is an ignition module? Where is it? How does it work? And how do you break it? Well, when you run your spark plugs like the sales guy says, you're overheating the ignition, which is some of these coilover plug ignition coils are very expensive. In some cases, they're not too bad, but when the spark plug gap is 3 times the gap it should be, and you'll see that in a couple of videos on our YouTube channel as well. I show you that. Spark plugs that are big enough to park a Mack truck in there, the gap. The computer will change the air-fuel mixture strategy to keep the engine running well, and that's where the problem is. The onboard computer's making adjustments on the fly to keep the engine running good while things are wearing out. And then it gets to a point where all of a sudden the engine's misfiring, it's stalling, it won't accelerate. Now we've gone beyond what the computer can make adjustments for and hide problems. That's exactly it. The computer hides problems that are existing. So that's why it's so important we get in. We make sure that we're doing a complete fuel system decarbonization and gum out service, not just putting some goo, some snake oil in the tank, actually cleaning the system. Decarbonizing the pistons and valves and getting the cauliflower carbon, which looks like lava rock, out of the engine that's stealing your vehicle from performance and fuel economy. That's part of a tune-up. Engine air filters, fluids, checking the fluids, belts, hoses. That's part of a tune-up. Adjusting tire pressures. That's part of a tune-up. Lubing locks and hinges. That's part of a tune-up. So I hope you're getting the picture. The picture is, if it's got 60 to 100,000 K on it, we're going to pull the spark plugs out before you burn out your ignition. So it's cheaper to do that than burn out your ignition components. Absolutely is. So all that to say this, should we be tuning up our vehicles? Yes. And that's where you need a technician is all over it. Checking maintenance strategies on the year, make, and model that you have, and then approaching the vehicle with that list I'm just talking about. And everything I'm talking about right now on that is all listed for you in our Car Connection maintenance schedule. So if you had one of these, nicely laminated, so that you can use the dry erase marker and the dry erase marker holder that comes with it, post this up with stickies or magnets, and read the 3 lines that give the instructions. This is your go-to. And it will list everything that I'm talking about. PCV valves, pollen filter, replace fuel filter, multi-point inspection, tune-up inspection, cooling system flush, front wheel alignment, motor vac, fuel injection system. That's what I'm talking about. It's a machine. It's called the motor vac. We were one of 2 that ever arrived in Hamilton, and I'll tell you, that machine was never parked in a corner somewhere. We were able to get vehicles running that hadn't run well right from brand new with that machine by cleaning the gummy, gooey deposits, the cauliflower carbon out of the engine, off the pistons, off the valves, to let that engine breathe and run like a charm. And I remember, just as an example, had a Mercury Marquis come in. It was only a year old. And this guy had been back to the dealer I don't know how many times. And he said, "Do you think that machine might be able to help me out?" And I said, "You know what? I don't know. You know what? Your car's not all that old." He goes, "Let's do this. I want you to change out the spark plugs, and then I want you to put that motor vac thingy on my car." I said, "You know what? I'm going to go a step further. You know, we've only had the motor vac for, at that time, maybe 3 months." I said, before I change the plugs. He says, "I've had fuel injectors twice now. Nothing's changed. This car has had a hiccup since I bought it." And I go, "Oh," I said, "now you got me really interested." I said, "I'll tell you what. Let's not change the spark plugs. Let's give it a motor vac. And I'll tell you what. If it makes correction for you and that engine behaves 100%, then you can pay me for the motor vac. But if it doesn't, you don't owe me a dime. How's that sound?" He goes, "That's a great deal." I go, "Yeah, if it doesn't work, it's on me. If it works, then you pay for the service." I got a phone call. That guy left and drove his car home. It wasn't an hour after he left, my phone rang, and the secretary says, "So-and-so's on the phone. He has to talk to you." I go, "I hope nothing's happened." You know how your mind works, turning shrubs into trees. So I get on the phone, and he says, "I don't know what that thing does, but this car almost got me a ticket on the way home. It hasn't run like this since the day I bought it brand new and took it home. It's amazing. That machine is amazing. It's fixed. It runs. I can't even hear it run." And he says, "I open the hood. The engine's not shaking." He says, "I could put a cup and saucer on there with a full cup of tea on there and it wouldn't spill." He goes, "I don't understand that machine, but that worked." He was so excited, this guy. He was like mid-70s. He was like a little kid. He goes, "I cannot believe it. Out of everybody who touched this thing, you're the guy." I said, "It's the machine." I said, "That's why we bought it, because we had a lot of GM cars that didn't idle right. We tuned them up. We did everything, and they still didn't buck up. But when we got this machine, I started calling people in and saying, 'Hey, let me experiment with this on your car.' And we saw the same results, not once, but several times. Cars that we could not get them to run right. We did a full-blown fuel injection, gum out, decarbonization service with the motor vac. Bam, problem solved." So, Wendy, great question. Question number 3, and then I got to get out of here. There's stuff to do on the shop floor to get ready for Monday's production. Our video shoots are on Monday. So that's how you get 3 new videos every single week, 2 for Tuesday and 1 on Friday. Allison says this. Her question is, fuel system servicing, is that for real or just a gimmick? Well, I just talked about that, didn't I? And that's it. In a nutshell, yes, it is. But it's not just throwing some snake oil in the gas tank. You need to get to someone who has the Motorvac machine. And it used to be, I don't even know if it's still called Motorvac. I'll have to check that. But you know what? I really regret selling my Motorvac machine when I had to close the shop, because that thing was absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. That machine was running on a car pretty much every single day, and it was great because the customers would see results, drivability results, fuel economy come up, performance, idle, acceleration, the whole 9 yards, stuff that we could not cure because the fuel is dirty. And that machine, we would run the vehicle on a soak, and it's hooked up to the fuel rail so that the cleaner is going through all the injectors, all the fuel lines, removing paraffins and build up deposits left behind by the clean fuel, so-called clean fuel. Then we'd always, after we've run it for half an hour and circulated, the cleaning solution goes out to the car, around all its veins and arteries, and filtered and back to the machine. And then we would run the vehicle for about half an hour on the solution. It's running not off your gas tank, but off the solution. And then we would just let it sit and soak and soften up all the carbon. And it would literally blow out more carbon and deposits for up to 100 kilometers after the job was done. Then we would do an oil change immediately following and change the fuel filter as long as it's not in the tank, and down the road it would go. That's a fuel system service. If you want to do a maintenance after that, Allison, there are a number of products that I can recommend to you. If you like, just send me an email, and I'll send you back a list of products that you can put in the tank as a maintenance that actually works. I'll give you 2 products that you can get your hands on that you put in the tank before you fill the tank. So you put it in at the gas bar and then fill the tank. That product will continue to maintain your fuel injectors and your fuel system. But once a year, you should have a full fuel system service. You will be amazed at the difference in the performance of your vehicle, because the performance is taken away from you so gradual that you don't even notice it. But we notice it when you pull the fuel filter off, and there is a video on our YouTube channel showing you just how clean this clean fuel is when I empty out a fuel filter and it comes out looking like black tar. Yeah, where does that come from? Is it the car that does it? So then we'd have to say all the manufacturers are having problems with black carbon-looking material that comes out of the fuel filter. It's in the fuel. And the fuel filters today are not just filters, they're purifiers, just like a water purifier, filtering down to 0.0001 microns, so smaller than a grain of sand. There's a series of screens inside the filters taking all the impurities out of the fuel. So Allison, great question. Thank you for sending that in. And if you need some direction with regards to what to put in the tank as a maintenance, I will be happy to point your compass needle in the right direction to products that work, that I've come to know for the last 3 decades, that after we do a Motorvac, I'd throw one of those maintenances right into the tank. And if the tank was too low, I'd give it to the customer, bill it out, and say, when you go to fill, put all of this product in and then fill your tank, and it will continue to clean. So just a couple of things to wrap up with today. Thanks for joining me here for the Motormouth Morning Drive, the weekend edition for our Q&A session. Great job on the questions again, ladies. Smoking hot. And support our YouTube channel and our podcasts if you aren't already. If you're enjoying them, please and thank you. Would you take a moment and do that for Skippy and I? We'd really appreciate it. And help us to get to our very first 1,000 subscribers. And we are close. So please consider subscribing. And thanks so much, and be part of our online Motormouth community through our podcasts, and put your town on the map so I can see where you're listening from, because I can see that in the analytics. So it's great to see that people are tuning into the podcast in 10 different countries. That's exciting. So I hope you have a wonderful civic holiday weekend for all those in Canada. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. Keep an eye on the kids. And if you see them doing something that's questionable, you know what? Here's my point. Better that I say something out of love to them than something happens and I could have changed the outcome on that by just saying something. Yeah. And I did that recently, and you know what? The kids might not think it's a good thing until afterwards go, you know what? It's a good thing he said something. We might have done something really foolish and got injured. So it's better to stick your nose in once in a while in love and just say, hey, that's not really a good idea. And if they give you, they give you the number one or drop an F-bomb on you, it doesn't matter, because now you have a clean conscience. So till Monday, happy, healthy motoring, friends. Peace, patience, and kindness always. And we'll see you in the next one. Come and join us for another Motormouth Morning Drive Monday morning at 8 a.m. sharp. We'll see you there. Bye for now.